What I'd like to talk about is disparities for Black men and white men relative to holistic interventions. So basic question, do Black men do better or worse with particular vitamins or nutraceuticals compared to white men?
Right. So what do we know? We know that African-American males do more poorly with prostate cancer than do Caucasians, and certainly more so than Asians. We know that, and we don't know why that is. So there are more African-American men diagnosed with prostate cancer, and more African-American men die from prostate cancer than any other race or ethnic background. So, and in general, many African-Americans are predisposed to many things. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes and things. So is that nature or nurture, right? Is that genetics? Is that environmental? What's the deal here? So I don't have a straight answer, and here's my theory based on the research that I've read. I think that, I'm at risk of oversimplifying here, and I get that, because when you look at the African American diet, is poor, is fried foods, even the collard greens sometimes is overly cooked. So I don't think it's not a great diet. African American men, and Native Indians are, for the most part, are obese. There's obesity there. We know that obesity is a significant risk factor for prostate cancer and dying from prostate cancer. So there's a dietary component there. If you were to put a gun in my head and say, okay, Dr. Gio, right now, what's the number one risk factor for African American men? I would say it's vitamin D deficiency. I think that everyone should be on vitamin D, period. African American men, I think that you're putting your life at risk. I hate to sound melodramatic here, of course, but if I were to figure out what is the number one cause of all these issues, health issues that occur with African American men, I would say it's vitamin D deficiency. Again, I am oversimplifying. I'm aware of that. There's dietary issues and other issues. Some of it is genetics, perhaps, but the vitamin D component of it is significant. And when you look at their blood and you look at their vitamin D levels, it is extraordinarily low and deficient. And so I think vitamin D is a very, very important component for everyone, but certainly to African-American males. And we could talk about later diet and things like that more specifically.
Okay, great. And is there anything that African-American men or men from African descent, including Caribbean Afro men and Creole men, should not be taking, or from your experience should take less of, nutraceutical-wise?
Not necessarily. I don't find that there's any disparity between all these races in terms of what they should take. I would say that the emphasis for vitamin D, while everyone should take it, is definitely more so for African-American men or just people with, more melanin production in their skin and darker complexion as a whole.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. And we'll continue this discussion in another presentation. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Darryl.